Hello and welcome to Organizational Behavior, MBA 592. This is a video syllabus where I'm going to help you to understand how this course works and what your responsibilities are and what we're trying to achieve. Now, the first area I'm going to talk about is the announcements area. So that should automatically come up when you click on this class in the Blackboard, electronic Blackboard. And the announcements is an area where I try to keep everyone up to date on what's going on, what's happening, where I am with the class. Typical announcements could be about things I've graded or issues I'm trying to correct, or the weekly assignments. Right now in the announcements area, I have an announcement here that goes over how to get started. And so this class runs from August 26th to December 15th. And you can find, I would like you to look in course documents to find the syllabus, class notes, and lectures. However, the first thing you should do, which you're already doing, is to watch the video syllabus. And this is going to be your first step. I would also advise you to look in assignments on Blackboard. That's this button right here, assignments, and discussions. Those are two areas that we're going to be working in. And I've outlined the class schedule on this announcements page. So the class schedule for each week, I have everything laid out for the next 14 weeks. For each week, we're going to cover one chapter. So the expectations for you for each week as far as the class schedule, which is involved in the classwork. This is not a homework schedule. This is just classwork. And for classwork, I expect you to watch the lecture for that week. And this week I have actually two lectures. One is the video syllabus, which you're watching right now, and two is the lecture to chapter 1. Now, to watch the lecture to chapter 1, you merely just need to cut and paste this link. It's a YouTube link into, you open up your browser and cut and paste that into your browser, and YouTube will come up. Welcome to chapter 1 of organizational behavior. Here we're just going over the basics of organizational behavior, some research elements, Okay, so that is chapter 1, and it just pops up into YouTube. So as long as you have this link here, you can watch the video lecture on your iPad, your iPhone, your Android, your desktop, your laptop, any device that can access YouTube. And some TVs even now access YouTube, so you can even watch these videos on your TV in your living room. But it all starts with this link. So you copy this link into your browser, and then you will get the lecture for that week. And each week I also have an assortment of discussion questions for you to work on. And how this works is you read the chapter, watch my video lecture where I discuss the chapter and its contents, and then together with the entire class, we form a class discussion on topics that relate to that chapter and questions specifically. And then week 2 is on chapter 2, and we do basically the same thing. Then week 3 is on chapter 3, and you kind of follow along. And each week I have a different lecture tied to that chapter for you to watch and enjoy. Okay, so that's the basic class structure. So pretty simple. You read a chapter, you watch my video lecture on the chapter, and then you go to discussion questions. So let's look at what the discussion questions entail. There's a menu button on Blackboard called Discussions. So you're going to click on that. And for week 1, I have the discussion questions based on posting an article. So article 1 for week 1, and you have until Friday, August 30th to complete this. And what I want you to do is I want you to find a topic that's related to organizational behavior. And it's something that's timely and relevant, and this article should come from an established newspaper, business magazine, research periodical, and your report on this paper should include the title of the article, the source, the author, the date, and a brief summary of the contents, and why you picked this particular article, and how the article relates to organizational behavior or corporate culture. And each student is expected to reply to 2 other students' articles. And hopefully I would also expect that you could read as many of the posts as possible. So this becomes our classroom discussion. So instead of us being in a classroom and I ask a question and you raise your hand and state your answer to it, and then someone else replies to the answer, then I contribute, we're going to do this all in the discussion board area. So let's take a peek in here. We click on the Article 1 link, and you can see that there is one posting here already. So we can click on that posting, and we'll see what was posted. Okay, so here is the title of the article, the source with the web link, the author, the date, a brief summary of what the article is about, and then another summary of why you picked that article and how it relates to our topic and why it's a good article. Then all right, you can also rate this posting. At some point, I'm going to reply first. Click this reply to a posting that you've read. And in the box below, you can type in your reply, basically commenting on the article, some of the things that they might have said, additional articles that relate to it. I mean, basically carrying on the discussion of this article. And then when done, you can just hit submit. And now there is a response to the article. Okay, now let's just go back to Article 1. For you as a student, you're going to create a new thread. And you're going to, you can put in, I guess, the title of your article and your name. Let's see. Something, put your name. And then you can, create your post and then submit it. So now there are two posts. So when you reply to a post, you reply directly to the discussion tab. So I'm going to go back in here. Like I showed you before, you click on the article, read, and it also is helpful to read the actual article too, so you get an idea of, it can contribute to why you think this article is important and some related context to it, and then you can reply, just like I have done here. Now, and this keeps things orderly and neat. So every time when I click in, I can see, okay, here's my article. Here's another article by John Doe, who's an anonymous author. These are just examples. So when you're ready, first step, find an article. Second step, click on the discussion board, click into the Article 1, Week 1, and then create your thread. And then as you see this, and generally I expect students on Monday and Tuesday to post their originals, and then Wednesday, Thursday to reply to these original postings and contribute back to your fellow students on the discussion board. Now that's one type of discussion board question, is the article post. I also have a more true discussion board question, and this one would be a September 6th due date. So on this, let me just go back. This discussion question 1, let's see what I say here. On page, so I expect every student to post one original response to the question and at least 3 replies to each post. So for the discussion question, I'm looking for 3 replies. So read page 7 of the textbook. Women might make better leaders. And then I ask you, do you think this study is on track? From your experiences, do women lead differently than men? Post your originals on Monday and Tuesday and your replies Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So this would be a more true discussion question. And you can see here there's one thread already created by Jane Doe. And you can see here in this thread they write typically 200 to 300 words is written on the discussion topic in here, and they state their opinion of how they feel about this topic, and then you of course reply to, you could rate the posting, give it an overall rating. And I encourage students to rate postings. If you find a posting that's poor, give it a 1 rating. If you find a posting that's great, give it a 5. This way I get a sort of a feedback from all the students that have read the post and how you feel about it, and it's a good measurement for you. If you go back and look at your post, you can see how it was rated. and get an idea of how your fellow students appreciate the quality of your posting. And of course, like I said before, you hit reply, and then you could post a reply to this posting and contribute back to the original poster. Okay. So pretty simple, right? And oh, actually, here I say each post should be about 100 to 200 words. I guess that's fair. And then the replies should be similar, 100 to 200 words. So I think original posts are closer to 200 words, and replies are usually closer to 100. Another type of discussion board question or assignment could be a self-assignment or self-assessment assignment, where here I ask you to look up in the self-assessment section of the textbook, and it's one reason it's important to get the edition of the textbook that's written in the syllabus, so your page numbers line up. And so this would be W33 and the page numbers W33 through to W35 will contain self-assessment 3, 5, and 4. And here I expect you to, it's sort of like a little worksheet you complete in the book, and then you can respond to the usefulness of this assessment, its accuracy, and discuss, is this beneficial? Is it something that you would ask your coworkers to do, or did this help you kind of open up a new way of thinking or additional insights into the chapter material? And here, for these, I look for 200 to 300 words of the initial post, and then your reply should be anywhere from 75 to 200 words. So the self-assessment is different than the discussion question, is different than the article as far as the amount of content you're going to provide. So these you provide a little bit more because there's a little bit more going on here. Okay, so right now in the beginning couple of weeks I only have one discussion board topic set up for each week. This may change as the weeks go, when we go into the course a little bit more deeply, but right now I don't overwhelm you. I want you to get used to like a daily practice of opening up the discussions and seeing what other students have written and contributed and replying back to them, and really generating a true discussion here where you're sharing your experiences and helping the student to grow and really develop a better understanding of the topics at hand. Okay, so going back. So that's basically would be your week. So if you think of your typical week, you read the chapter, watch my video lecture, and then work on that week's discussion questions. Now that's the class schedule. There is also a homework schedule. So if you go to assignments, you click on assignments, this is going to chronologically list all of the assignments for you to work on in this course. Now the first assignment is the one we already talked about, called discussion board, and that's the value is 20% of the class. So each week I will set up discussion board topics, various, either article or discussion question or both, or a self-assessment. And like I just went over before, I expect to keep the class orderly and fair. I want you to post your original response on Monday or Tuesday. It could even be Sunday, Monday, or Tuesday. And then your replies Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. What I don't want is for you to come to the discussion board at Friday night at 10 p.m. to post your original posting and then make 2 quick replies. You really haven't given anybody a chance to read your original post by doing this, so it's kind of selfish. So I'm looking for you to pop into this at a minimum 2 days a week. One day to post your originals, and later in the week to post your replies. I do encourage you to check these discussion boards more frequently. And I do get a report that shows me how many times you've accessed the discussion board, how many minutes you've spent in the discussion board. So I do get a full report on your activity inside the discussion board. The second, we have a case assignment. So this case assignment is 2 points, and it's due on September 8th at 11:30. And I would like you to attach a Word document or PDF format to this link. So you go to in the textbook on page W99. Anything that says W means it's sort of after the main chapters of the book. So in W99 you'll find the Trader Joe's case study. It's about a page or two. It's really not a very long case study, and I want you to go to that textbook, see the case study, and then answer the the questions, answer all the questions at the end of this particular case study. Write that up in a Word or PDF document, click on this link, and then you could click on Browse My Computer to attach the file. And then you just hit Submit. So I'll have an electronic copy of your case study. Now these case studies are not very lengthy, or should be, or average length of the case study reply should be 1 or 2 pages, and it's meant to really just involve ourselves into some good, excellent examples, real-world examples of some of the course material that we're talking about going over during the class. Okay, so now the third type of assignment you'll get here is a quiz. So this is quiz 1, which is due on September 22nd. So you see how this kind of goes in chronological order. So you just have to make it a habit to go to the assignments and see, okay, what is due, what's coming up, and start working on it. And the third assignment that comes up, discussion boards is continuous throughout the whole class. Periodically there'll be a mini case. Usually every couple of weeks there is a quiz. So quiz 1 for chapters 1 and 2 is due on Sunday, September 22nd by 11:30 p.m. And it's very simple to complete the quiz. You just click on quiz 1 and then begin. And the quiz will have a number of multiple choice questions. And these multiple choice questions are based on my lectures and the textbook. And they cover they correlate to the chapters that we're going over in the class. All right, so you answer each question as you go through. There's no time limit. Take as much time as you want up until the due date. And then, so I'm just going to quickly, looks like this one's about 30 questions. So I'm just hitting B on all of them. And you can see how that after I hit it, it saves the question. So you can actually, so this question is saved. So say, for example, you lost your connection, or there was a problem somewhere with this. You can hit save all answers, and then you could, after you hit save all answers, you could go offline, leave this page, just do something, come back a couple of hours later, go back to assignments in the quiz 1, and you'll see that the answers that you previously put in are still saved. And I can't see it until you hit the actual submit button. So you are able to kind of pick up on this, work on it for a little while, then come back and complete it. So you don't have to do it all at one time. Okay. Now, if you have done it all at once, or when you are finished, you want to hit save and submit. Save and submit will submit your final grade to me. And you only have one attempt on this. So hit save and submit when you're good and ready. So once you submit it and hit OK, it's going to give you a score. So I got basically 2 points out of 10 I earned. So really not the best attempt, but what do you expect when I hit B as the answer to all the questions? So I'm going to hit OK, and then that will pop into your grade book. All right. And this particular quiz is worth 8 points, not 10. And then we have another mini case on September 29th, and then quiz 2 on October 6th, also on Sunday. I try to keep the quizzes on Sunday. And then another case study, another quiz 3, another case study, another quiz, and that will give us up until November 3rd. By November 3rd, we would have covered a significant amount of the course topics and quizzes and relevant case studies, and we come into the first paper. And the first paper is the culture paper. And this paper is going to be 10 points. And it's due Sunday, November 10th at 11:30, and it's an organizational culture report. So I want you to find a CEO or even a CFO or a president of a company. Actually, that's the next paper. This paper Let me back up a second. See, sometimes in these videos I make a mistake, but I'm not going to go back and record 20 minutes, so I'm just going to correct myself. This particular case is the culture paper. So you want to talk about the culture of an organization or a company. So this report must answer, 5 specific questions about the culture of the organization. And one, I want you to define the culture of the organization. And then I want you to tell me, how do you know that this is the culture? What are the signs of the culture or examples from this company? So you have to use your knowledge from the organizational behavior book and the chapters and the information I've given you on corporate culture to translate that into and interpret that, but information you have about company's culture and apply that to a particular company. And do some research and investigate and find out what the company's culture is and define to me how you know this is a culture. Provide me some proof. And give me a history. What caused this company to develop this culture? And what are the effects of this culture on society and the employees and the customers? And has this culture changed much, or can it be changed in the future? Now, I expect this report, as all of your writing, to be a graduate level written report that's well organized, so which means you should proofread it and work to make it as perfect as possible, almost publishable. And I want the reports to have the list of all the sources you use for your information, and I want the sources cited properly. And I will give some additional information on how to properly cite a source that you use in your paper, which you should know this by now, but I'm going to give you some links where you could brush up on it just to make sure you have it correct. And if when I say I don't give a page count, because that could be, page counts can be manipulated easily. So I do give a word count. So I like these papers to be anywhere between no less than 2,100 words and no more than 2,700 words. I mean, it's really a guide. If you give me 3,500 words, I'm not going to take points off of that. That would be fine. I'm not going to penalize you for making a report bigger, but if you do give me less than 2,100 words, that is going to, severely impact your grade. So be careful of your word count, which is something that a Word document at the bottom will show you how many words you've used, quite simply. Now, once you're done with the culture paper and you've written it and you're happy with it, you're going to have it either in a Word or a PDF file. Click on the culture link, paper link, and again, you just hit the browse my computer, find your paper, attach it, and submit the work to me. So that would be the first paper, which is the culture paper. Now we'll have a quiz 5. I'm sorry for bouncing around here. Quiz 5 and quiz 6, and then our last assignment will be the CEO profile report. This is the one I started to talk about a little bit before. And the value of this is 15 points, and it's due on December 8th at 11:30 p.m. And I want each student to pick a CEO, a president, a CEFO even, a leader of an organization. And I do like it if the person you select for your CEO profile. And remember, a CEO can be a president of a company. It's someone who's really in charge. And I would like your CEO to be from a different company than what your culture report paper was on, because it expands your horizons a little bit more if the culture paper is on one company and your CEO is on a different. So keep that in mind. And what I'm looking for you here is I want you to research and prepare a report about the leadership and leadership style and effectiveness of this corporate leader. And I want you to give me a brief background on this leader. Give me ideas of his leadership style and philosophy and what their values are, their biggest strengths and weaknesses, successes and failures in running this company. What qualities do you think make this leader successful? What has been some of the qualities he possesses that's led to the companies he's worked for being so successful? And what can you personally learn from this leader? And in both these papers, I'm looking for you to connect the dots between my lectures, the textbook material, and the subject of the paper. So you should definitely cite your textbook if you're going to pull out any concepts or ideas from your textbook about leadership style and philosophy and things of that nature for this paper. So I like to see it when you refer back to the textbook and give me some insights. Show me that you've processed some of the material that we've talked about and you're applying it to this particular report as best you can. As well as you're going to have many magazine articles, maybe even some books based on this person, depending on how famous they are. And again, this report, I'm looking for something professionally written at the graduate level. I want all your sources properly cited in the bibliography or reference index. And again, this is a similar paper size, 2100 to 2700 words. And that's usually about 7 to 10 pages, depending on your margins and your fonts. You can certainly, don't do any less than 2,100 words, but you can certainly go, going over 2,700 is not a punishable offense. I'm not going to take points off for that. That's just a guideline. If you want to do 3,500 words, that's fine if you feel that's the amount of time you need to really adequately cover this topic. It can only really, I guess, enhance your grade somewhat if you're going to have such a comprehensive report. Now, and again, to submit this paper, you just click this link here, and there'll be a browse my computer button, and then you can click and submit your paper. So everything's all nice and tidy and submitted through Blackboard. There's no, since it's an online class, you won't be handing anything to me in person. And that's basically, how you deal with the homework assignments of this class. So you can click on assignments, and they're listed in chronological order. So you can kind of just take a note of what assignments are due this week. And at the beginning of the class, there's basically quizzes and small cases. And at the end of the class, we have a couple quizzes and two report papers due, one in November, one in December. That I'm looking to see that you're incorporating a lot of what we learned and discussed during the class into those two papers that are the cornerstone of your understanding of organizational behavior. Okay, so let's go. So we talked about discussions and assignments, and we talked about your daily flow. So each week, just to reiterate, you're going to read a chapter, watch a lecture, answer a discussion question, and see what assignments are due for that week. So a pretty simple process. And I try to keep the class very straightforward and very clear to minimize confusion. Let's take a quick peek at the syllabus. So under this Documents tab, I have all the PowerPoints for the course listed in here that you can refer to. I also have one of the assessment assignments. I have a PDF that goes along with an assessment assignment that you'll see when you click on the assignment. I'll let you know that there's a PDF under course documents that gives you additional information. So this will come up later. Nothing really that important. And here is the syllabus for the class. So the class is online. I do have office hours in Harriman Hall on Mondays and Wednesdays from 11:30 to 12:30 in person. Your textbook is Organizational Behavior is the name. It's 12th edition by this author. It would not be wise to purchase the 11th edition, even though it might be cheaper. The pages and cases will not link up or connect correctly. In some cases may have been changed. Some assessment assignments may have been changed. So you need to get the more current chapter. Now this is what we call an asynchronous online class, where I will provide videos and documents and lectures and tests and assignments, and then you designate what time of the day is best for you to work on them. So you should connect to Blackboard at least 4 days a week to contribute to the discussion boards, to kind of see if there's any new announcements, to just keep in touch and check back with the class. But if you prefer to work at 2 a.m. in the morning, if you prefer to work in Sydney, Australia, you can do whatever, whenever, as long as you get the work done by the deadline. Now, in the syllabus, which I encourage you to read, and I would like you to be sure to read the entire document because you're responsible for everything it contains. And in the document, I describe the course objectives. And my objective really that we're all going to be members, or already are members of organizations, and we're going to be members of many organizations throughout our lives. And we're going to be a part of the internal dynamics of these organizations. And these dynamics consist of behaviors of individuals as they work together and interact together within the organization. So this organizational behavior is generated from the environment. And it's a good idea to understand and study these environments and how people behave within the organizational structure to, to make your life more successful within the organization and to make the organization more successful. So to help us to understand these issues, this is, of course, a study that's going to look at the behavior of individuals within organizations and look at different scientific investigations of this area, generated by the body of work that's been developed over the years about organizational behavior. And we're going to specifically look at, perceptions and motivations and leadership, decision making, and teamwork. And we're going to try to, put this all together and see if we can get a better understanding of how an organization ticks. My specific learning goals to this class, I want to help each student understand the organizational behaviors, issues, and consequences that can affect us at work, also at school. School is an organization. I want to provide up-to-date, relevant application information from the field. I want to prepare you for a life at work after graduation, so you'll be as successful as possible. I want to create engage in some active learning process, which we'll be doing through the discussion boards. And I want to expose you to a lot of the terminologies used in organizational thinking and the jargon that companies use to describe certain organizational elements. So you're more informed when this vocabulary comes up at work. Now, so we're going to achieve these learning goals through different tools. One, of course, is going to be the textbook, and we're going to cover chapters 1 through 11 plus 15. Second is going to be the quizzes to reinforce the understanding and give me an idea of how well you understand the chapters. We're going to be utilizing case studies and current articles to help give it a more real-world examples of organizational behavior. And we're going to be writing a couple of papers to tie this all together. So your class time is really going to be my lectures covering the content of the textbook, discussions of the articles and current events, using discussion boards and video lectures and the voiceover PowerPoint that's on the video lectures to simulate a course environment. Now the grades. Now I want to give a warning here. I'm not going to accept any late assignments. So if you're late on a quiz or a case study or even one of the bigger papers, I am not going to be able to accept that. You have to get everything done on time, otherwise it won't be accepted. Just want to make that warning right now. And one of the reasons is I'm giving you all the assignments up front, all the due dates months in advance. So if you're the type of person that things happen to, with children or work-related events, or things are coming up, or and you're the type of person that things come up and prevent you from getting your assignments done because you work on the last couple of days before the due date, start getting in the habit of working in advance. So that way when these things do happen, you have a few days leeway so you can still get your work done on time. Now, as far as the points for the class, the organizational and culture report is 10 points. The CEO profile report is 15 points. We have 4 mini cases at 7 points in total. Not each, but the total of the 4 mini cases is 7 points. Discussion board questions are 20 points, and we have 6 quizzes that are 8 points each, and that's a total of 100 points for the class. You can use this grades to letter point chart down here to figure out what your grade is. So by doing all these assignments, if you accumulate 95 points, you'll be getting an A. If you only accumulate 85 points, you'll be getting a B. And what's very important with this class, and it's your discussion board grade of 20% or 20 points, is I'm looking for you to make the discussion boards a high priority, and that the quality of your posts and your contributions are respectful and contribute in a positive way to enhancing our course discussions. And I don't want anybody to to dominate these course discussions or to really phone it in. I'm looking for a genuine, active community that we're going to develop in these case. I'm sorry, these discussion board questions. And these discussion boards, I may post anywhere from 1 to 2, possibly 3 different discussion boards. Each week will really vary, but all the due dates will always be on the discussion boards. And the discussion boards I've set up so far, I might add some towards the end of the class. I'm not 100% finished. The first month or so of the class is 100% in there with the due dates, but I may add a couple of additional discussion questions as the course goes on for the month of October and November that I haven't set up just yet. But it's important that, with the article or the assessments, that you really give it a good shot and contribute and share with the class to make it a very useful discussion board environment. Now, the rest of the syllabus just reiterates the 2 papers that are due and the class schedule that I already posted on announcements. Now, this only goes to 14 weeks because we are not going to have a final exam for this class. It's just going to be a series of quizzes. So after December 8th, when you hand in your last paper, that will be the end of the course. There is no final exam. And I do have a grading rubric that you can check out on the syllabus that goes over how I'm going to grade the paper. And what I'm looking for, I have different areas I look for specifically when I'm reading your paper over and I grade you in each area. And then the average of these becomes your grade for the paper. So just keep this in mind. Read this over before you write the paper so you have a better idea of how I look at and grade your written work. Okay, so that is the syllabus, and I encourage you to read that over. Let's see. Okay, so I think that's about it. We covered announcements, documents, assignments, discussions. In the tools, you will be able to check your grades by clicking on My Grades, and I do provide feedback for most of the written work, and sometimes also for discussion boards. If there's a problem with the discussion board, I generally will give you some feedback and let you know what you're doing wrong and how to improve it. So that's one tool you could use. There's also your library resources. You click on this library resources button and you go into the university library where you can check out journals and articles and search online for different databases to get some more information for your written or research-based work. And that's about it. So that's the class in a nutshell, and I try to keep everything very organized and well structured for you to keep it as clear as possible, because clarity of communication is a cornerstone of a good organizational behavior and is a cornerstone of a good online class. So with that, I hope that you have a very successful semester, and I'll be talking to you during the semester. Okay, take care.